Support comes from Missouri Forest Products Association, committed to sustainable and sound conservation of the state's forests, which support more than 41,000 Missouri jobs, resulting in a $10 billion industry. ChooseWood.com.
From the St. Louis Public Radio Newsroom, this is The Gateway. It's September 11th, 18 years since the 9/11 attacks. I'm Wayne Pratt. Ahead, many students and families are always looking for ways to save on the high cost of tuition. That's where the A+ program comes in. It provides Missouri students with 2 years of community college for free.
Come to school on time, be here every day, make decent grades, and then the state will reward you with some financial compensation to go to college.
But there are questions about why more students from urban schools do not participate. We will try to provide some answers in just a few minutes. First, the news. Missouri Democrats are again calling on Governor Mike Parson to broaden the scope of this week's special legislative session to include gun violence. As St. Louis Public Radio's Jacqueline Driscoll reports, they have filed several bills in an effort to get the conversation started.
Parson has repeatedly rejected these requests, saying special session isn't the time or place to deal with such a divisive issue. He says it ought to be handled in the regular session that begins in January. Parson, the top Republican in the state, has also said he's concerned about his sway in getting other legislators on board with changing gun laws. Representative Crystal Quaid, a Democrat from Springfield, says that's a cop-out.
After El Paso, the governor of Texas issued executive orders and refused to let politics become a part of that conversation. That leader did not say, I don't have the power to do it. He's the governor.
This special session will take care of a car sales tax technicality. In Jefferson City, I'm Jacqueline Driscoll, St. Louis Public Radio.
Governor Parson is saying that he is roughly a week away from unveiling details of a plan to curb violent crime in St. Louis. He made the comment yesterday following a meeting with Mayor Lyda Krewson, County Executive Sam Page, and federal, state, and local law enforcement.
We're in a crisis in our state right now with this violent crime. And I think if we will all work together, all the agencies behind me, really commit to what we said today, I think in 10 days from now, we're going to walk out here in front of you and tell you exactly what that plan is and how we're going to execute it.
Parson says any plan will depend on what each party brings up in the areas of manpower, equipment, and technology. In other news, St. Louis Airport Advisory Working Group Communications Manager Douglas Petty has been fired. That's according to sources close to the matter. The group is expected to make a formal announcement today. Here's St. Louis Public Radio's Corinne Ruff.
Since March, Petty has reported directly to the city's Airport Advisory Working Group, which is exploring privatizing St. Louis Lambert International Airport. But Monday night, Petty sent an email with the subject line, quote, terminated as of now, according to an email obtained by St. Louis Public Radio. Two people close to the matter confirmed Petty was fired. The reason for his termination has not yet been released, but his credibility came under scrutiny last month after questions arose about whether he called a radio program using a fake name. A voice recognition expert hired by St. Louis Public Radio recently concluded Petty very likely called St. Louis on the air about airport privatization. Petty has never directly denied to the radio station making the call. He did not respond to a request for comment Tuesday. I'm Corinne Ruff, St. Louis Public Radio.
Subscribe, rate, and review this daily effort wherever you get your podcasts. The high cost of college has students and their families looking for ways to save on tuition. Missouri students can get 2 years of community college paid for if they do 50 hours of tutoring through the A+ program. But as Ellie Moxley reports, access for low-income students is uneven.
Fort Osage High School in Eastern Independence has a really robust A+ program. It's simple, says Principal Scott Moore.
Here's what we need you to do. Come to school on time, be here every day, make decent grades, and then the state will reward you with some financial compensation to go to college.
Fort Osage has a full-time A+ coordinator to make sure students are meeting the program requirements. Junior Aubrey Stewart spent the summer at kindergarten camp, helping soon-to-be Fort Osage students get ready for school.
I watched a lot of Lightning shoes. I watched so many because they were super excited about their new shoes. I blew a lot of noses, wiped a lot of messes. They're like 4 years old, so they're still learning how to live.
Those 50 hours of tutoring will pay for 2 years of community college if Stewart decides to go. She knows she wants a 4-year degree, but she could start at a community college and transfer. Either way, Stewart wanted to have an answer when people asked what she was going to do with her life.
I'm a junior now, like I'm an upperclassman, like that's going to come soon. I just wanted to have like that opportunity. Like I don't know if I will use it, but like to have that opportunity of 2 free years of college, like why not do it?
Fort Osage encourages students to do A+ even if they think they're going to a 4-year college. It gives them options if their plans change. As a result, only about half of Fort Osage's 124 class of 2018 A+ graduates ended up enrolling at a community college. A handful didn't continue their education, but most of the rest went on to 4-year colleges.
The suburban schools, their counselors have more time to do this sort of thing. And I think they're assessing their freshmen and sophomores in terms of what their postgraduate path is.
That's Scott Bayer with St. Louis-based College Bound, a program that helps urban teens get to and through college. He says if you look at who's participating in the A+ program, it's mostly students at big suburban high schools. He says it's not that the students College Bound works with can't meet the requirements of A+.
I would actually probably go so far as to say it's something much simpler. It's probably just a factor of time.
Bayer says low-income students nearly always qualify for Pell Grants, and A+ doesn't kick in until federal aid is exhausted. So it doesn't make much sense for them to spend time checking all the boxes A+ requires when they have to use up their Pell Grant eligibility first. As long as that's the case, A+ awards will always flow to middle-income students, says Carissa Anderson, the advocacy director for the Scholarship Foundation of St. Louis.
There are definitely equity implications because A+ does not take into account financial need. And we know there are people who utilize A+ who come from families that make $100,000, $200,000 a year, and we pay for them to go to community college.
Anderson says that just doesn't make any sense in a state that's made deep cuts to its higher education budget over the last decade.
If we thought about college going as a state, as a culture, we could probably come up with a program that would benefit both the folks in the urban areas and the folks in the rural areas who all need access to some type of schooling that will set them up for the future.
Way out in eastern Jackson County, Fort Osage High School has about as much in common with small rural districts as it does its suburban neighbors. Principal Moore says it isn't a given that every student will go to college.
To some, I think it's perceived as like an unobtainable goal, in all sincerity, because I think being in this rural community, that's the mindset.
Although Fort Osage encourages all students to do A+, Moore says it's the ones who weren't thinking about college who benefit the most. I'm Ellie Moxley.
Ellie is a reporter at public radio station KCUR in Kansas City. Shula Newman is the executive editor of St. Louis Public Radio, music by Ryan McNeely of Adult Fur. I'm Wayne Pratt, and from the St. Louis Public Radio newsroom, this has been The Gateway.
Support comes from the Missouri Forest Products Association, providing more than 41,000 jobs in the production of wood pallets, railroad ties, white oak barrels, hardwood floors, and more. Details at choosewood.com.